It's your boy Derek Branch of Strike7Sports.com. And today's episode of the Strike 7 Sports Podcast, episode number 40. I'm joined by my co-host, Brian Botta and Leo Seaberry. It's another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. So we're going to open things up tonight, and we're going to talk about the last, I would say, 48 hours in college football, the madness in regards to the coaching moves with these programs, the blue blood programs in particular, LSU, USC, preferably. So we're just going to start off by talking about Lincoln Riley and how he decided to go to USC, and nobody really knew about it till the day it happened. And it happened pretty fast. They announced it on Sunday afternoon, and the press conference was the next day. Like, it was just like, he's here. And I just want to get y'all thoughts on how everything went down with this situation.
Go ahead, Brian.
USC.
Go ahead.
All right. Like I said, I'm not surprised. You know, me and you, DB, I wrote that article in May. I didn't think it'd go down like this, but I knew he'd be a hot candidate. And already, his impact is being made. They're going to start getting a lot of recruits. And the main reason why I think he left, a lot of people are talking about SEC, and I think that has some part of it because the path is a little harder. But I think the main reason he has a better chance to win a national championship at USC, not Oklahoma. That pains me as an OU fan, but USC is much more attractive. You can get more recruits, and just in your backyard alone, you can get a lot of the recruits you need to run that really top years and ultimately win a championship. Will he win a championship? I don't know. It's really hard to do that, but he has a much better shot. And then the reason why I also thought he could leave, just if you hear his comments when he was always asked about the NFL, that doesn't sound like, if you're going to be there, you may obviously some people say that your work is because things can change, but you can tell if someone's a long-term guy or not. And when he came to Oklahoma originally, he was hired as an OC, and then he got elevated because Bob Stoops said hired. I don't think he thought he was going to be the head coach of Oklahoma. So at the time, I was taking stock, but a better opportunity came, and he's off to greener pastures, as I say. So we'll see how he does, but not surprised to happen.
You really have to give. The move is not surprising, but it is. I think it's eye-opening to where it doesn't matter how big your name is of a school. Like, you can. There's always better. That's what I learned. We learned this. There's always better out there for you. Like, for example, like we'll get into the Broncos situation. When you think someone's at home, they're not. They leave. That's when so a lot of people, they weren't saying Lee Riley was going to be a Oklahoma lifer, but surely he would. When he turned down the LSU job, a lot of people thought that meant he was staying in Oklahoma. But actually, just shows us that the coaching carousel it's crazy. I was really thrown off, and plus when Brian sent the benefits, I would have left too. I guess though, when you look at it, $110 million, the 2 houses paid off, the private jet whenever.
Hey, can I say one thing about they're not paying off the house in Norman. That's not happening. That's not true. But he gets one in college. That thing there's some of the details weren't right. I just saw a tweet that USC ain't paying for the house in Norman.
But they giving them the $6 million? They are giving them the $6 million houses, right? Dollar house, right?
Yeah, in California, I believe. But like a lot of people are criticizing everybody, we would all take that opportunity. Maybe the way he handled it wasn't right, but we would take that opportunity. And DB, I just want to ask you a quick question. I'm sorry, Leah. A lot of people are saying, reputable people are saying he was going to be the next coach at LSU. I don't know what people were saying, but
reputable people said that.
Paul Feinbaum, Greg McElroy, a lot of ESPN. But this is what I think happened. He was gonna be the next coach at LSU, or at least his agent told USC that. Then USC got all desperate, made their move, and then he chose USC over LSU. But I believe he just was tired of Oklahoma and he just wanted to. That's just what I believe. But that because a lot of people were. Because I saw another tweet that said Brian Kelly was LSU's second choice. Their number one choice was Lincoln Riley. That was their number one choice, and they went after him, and they were expecting him. And when he said what he said at the press conference, that also threw them up because apparently they were getting ready for him. Apparently, on Sunday, that's what people think, are ready to announce it. So it's amazing how this thing can really change quickly. But Oklahoma, they're reeling right now. They're going to lose a lot of players, but I think they should be patient. If the rumor is true that Brent Venables is a leading candidate, he's a really good coach. Has ties at Oklahoma. He was there before he went to Clemson, and now it kind of be coming home for him a little bit in a way. Midwest guy. I think he would be loyal. It'll be interesting to see who they hire, but the guy who they hire, I think, has to be someone who they think won't leave them. It's kind of tough for that. But, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. They got to hire quickly, and we'll see. But they have the good thing. They have the best job. Notre Dame is good, but Oklahoma's the best job available right now. So they should get the best candidate. Or
if it's true that Lincoln Riley was against the from what I've seen and multiple reports, Oklahoma joined the SEC kind of was like the last straw to him in terms of like leaving, and I really understand why but at the same, I understand because if you're going to the SEC, you're gonna go through Georgia, Bama, all those teams every year. You might as well have stayed in the Big 12, where at least you would have. Oklahoma State, Baylor, those are your biggest pieces of competition right there. And so really, from my takeaway of the move was he really did the best move for him. I mean, going to USC, the best team in the Pac-12 is Oregon pretty much every year. And Oregon's not unbeatable when they have the right opponent against them. We saw Stanford beat them. We saw how bad Stanford was this year. So really, he has the ability. I saw this on Cowherd's show, and I agree with him. He has the ability to give him a year and a half. Year two. This is the year most of these coaches at SC started, like the great ones, have started hitting on their program, like with Pete Carroll. Even Clay Helton had a great year two. Like year two should be the year that they really like take off. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the Pac-12 championship game next year, really, with all the recruits that they're going to get from the flips.
Yeah. I'm not really surprised by the move, man. When Brian had pitched that story to me in the summer, like, okay, man, it's okay to speculate. It happened. We got a lot of pushback, a lot of jokes online, and it just shows you how delusional college fan bases can be, both in college football and college basketball. They believe that their coaches are not going to ever leave. This amount of money is not going to bring them. It's not going to allow them to switch. You know what I'm saying? They believe that their coach is going to stay forever. It won't make sense. Why would he do this? Why would he do that? It doesn't make sense. Hey, man, money talk, man. That's all we know. That money talks in this industry. So I'm not surprised by the move. I think it's a good move for him. Change the scenery, good program. It's a powerhouse, historically. So I don't really have an issue with it. I just like the way he did it though. I would say I would like the way USC did it, because the whole time nobody was talking about who USC was targeting. Nobody. It was all about LSU, what they were going to do. Nobody. USC kept quiet the whole time. And just like that, within a day, they got the head coach. Nobody even know about it. So it is what it is, man. I mean, looking forward to next season and seeing how how quick the turnaround is in the Pac-12. So we'll see.
Wait,
All right,
one more
go
thing.
ahead. Go ahead.
Another thing is, it's easier for Lincoln Riley. Like, he accepted the Oklahoma job, but he was following Bob Stoops, one of the great legends and arguably the best coach in Oklahoma history. But at USC, he's following Clay Helton, who was a disaster. So already his job, I'm not saying eventually he'll have to win and he'll be judged by that, but already his job is, there's no pressure for him. At Oklahoma, for one, a lot of people thought this year they could win the national championship, and they just did not get the job. A lot of the recruits we had high hope for just didn't live up. So one thing, he gets a better job in my opinion, much better weather, a bigger contract, and most importantly, no pressure. He won't have right now. And I think that really appealed to him.
Yeah, so I think he'd be all right, man. I think people don't like it, but I think he'd be fine. All right, so moving right along, the next bombshell that dropped was last night. Brian Kelly decided to part ways with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and to become the head coach of the LSU Tigers. The deal is reportedly worth up to like $100 million, 10 years, 10-year contract. They had a press conference today. They flew him out to Baton Rouge. They brought out the red carpet for him. It was just, band was out there, big deal. So with this hire right here, I'm kind of surprised by it. And I think I mentioned this to Lee yesterday, is that a coach don't usually leave Notre Dame to go to another job in college football. Either two things going to a head coach in Notre Dame. You're either going to be good at it and you can have the team compete for national championships, or you're going to get fired. Or the other thing that's going to happen is that you're going to be so good at it, you'll be so good at Notre Dame, is that your next step is usually the NFL. Plain and simple. You go to the NFL. From Notre Dame, a coach usually goes to the NFL. Same with the USC job. So Brian Kelly coming to LSU, kind of surprised. Kind of surprised by it. I didn't think he would leave Notre Dame, because I just think Notre Dame, for a lot of people, is a dream job because of, the popularity of it, the brand. They got their own TV deal. They're one of the few programs that have the type of marketing that they have, the big names, the Heisman Trophy winners. They got the whole 9 yards in Notre Dame. But however, it went a different time, different era, different generation, and a lot of these kids coming out of college, coming out of high school, they're just not impressed with the history of Notre Dame. It's not their thing. Also, it's up in the Midwest. They also have a very hard, I would say, up to standard academics standard with their the school, and that could turn a lot of recruits away. Well, I won't say turn them away, but you just gotta try extra hard to get recruits in Notre Dame. But Brian Kelly, he did a good job with it. He did every way he's turned the programs into winners. He was good at Cincinnati. He turned Notre Dame around. It turned it into a double-digit winning program. Had it in the playoffs. I remember when it was when it was BCS at the time. They played Alabama. Played Alabama that time. They won I think 2 appearances or 2 back-to-back appearances to the CFP. So he has a good resume. So I think he's going to do well at LSU. I just want to see what type of offense he's going to run there, because somebody mentioned this on radio today when I listened to iHeart, is that the type of quarterbacks that Brian Kelly have is more like game managers. And in the SEC, you really can't have that. You can't really have those type of QBs in your system. When they need quarterbacks that's going to match with the players on the outside and with the wide receivers you have. You got to have everything has to line up. So I just want to see. My issue could be what type of quarterbacks he's going to have for this offense. So I'd just like to get your thoughts on the hiring of Brian Kelly to Notre LSU.
Really, the hire is a great move from a standpoint of it's a great hire, but I really just am surprised at this. What we were talking about, the Scott Woodward, I guess that's him. We have to give him the credit first. He's able to get Brian Kelly from there. I think the move really means that LSU is serious about winning. They want to win. They're not. They didn't just go for. They didn't go for anyone that was unknown or unproven. They didn't go for an experiment coach, and we knew they would. We knew LSU would try to get the best available. But the fact that they poached another top coach from another program that's been, like you said, in the playoff competition really shows that the draw and the allure of winning is contagious there, and they want to get back to that championship level of 2019. I think the move for Kelly, it's a great move. He's going to be able to win. Brian Kelly is a proven coach. He's worked with less talent. He's going to be able to get more. He'll get top recruits just off what he's done in the past, and I think he'll have LSU in a way better position in terms of long-term success than maybe Ed Orgeron, even though Orgeron did win that national championship in 2019.
Yeah, great hire. I was excited for LSU. You knew they were going to get a big name. And Brian Kelly, I think it's perfect. They want to win, and he's hungry. He's yet to win a national title. So I know he now has the talent to do it. That point you made about the quarterbacks and his OC will be very, very important. I think that's ultimately what's going to define his LSU tenure. I believe LSU always have a good defense. They're going to get those athletes. They'll get a solid DC. They'll always be good defensively. The question is, what are they offensively, and do they have that quarterback that can help them reach their ceiling? Joe Burrow was that guy, but ever since then, all their quarterbacks have been at bad. So that's going to be interesting. You probably know about the quarterback committed, Walker Howard. He's pretty good. But again, I think, look, they don't get the talent. That's not the problem. It's what to do with that talent.
Yeah.
Is the key. And so LSU has always gotten talent.
Yeah.
The problem is what to do with it. And so we'll see who their OC is. Tommy Reese has been floated out there, and I think he's a good OC. I would go with someone more experienced. That's just me. But you never know. Joe Brady didn't have a lot of experience, and look what he was able to do. So we'll see. I don't know if he's as good as Joe Brady. Brady spent some time with Sean Payton, and I think that's what really, really helped him be able to do what he was able to do. So we'll see. But LSU hit a home. I think it's a win-win for both parties. I think Brian Kelly got a good deal. A lot of people were like pointing out, he said he wasn't leaving Notre Dame. Well, no one had offered him all that money. And so once that happened, it was inevitable. And like I said in the chat, all these guys should be thanking Mel Tucker. He set the market for them. And they've accomplished way more than he has. So that just automatically gave them a raise. So I think Brian Kelly would do well. Will he win a title? I don't know. But I think he has a great shot. That's all you can have.
He's going to have a shot, man. He's going to have the tools to do it. So shouldn't be no issues about not, having the best players like he did at Notre Dame. So he should be interesting, man. I'm not expecting a national title next year, though.
Yeah, no.
I'm not.
I have one quick question.
Go ahead.
Your thoughts about there's this narrative out there that LSU didn't hire Billy Napier because he would have been coming from like maybe a little school in Louisiana, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't hire. Do you think that's the right decision that they didn't hire him? And do you think that logic?
I just think LSU Scott Woodward was going after a big name, man. He didn't want anybody that's somebody that's going to be like a tryout coach, like somebody that's like a wait and see type of coach. He wanted somebody that can come in, hit it out of the park, and get it done. And that's what he wanted. Not surprised that Napier wasn't even on the list. It is what it is. I like the coach we have, the coach that they have. So we'll see. So along with this, I want to talk about which job is the better situation right now, LSU or USC. And I'm gonna just go ahead and just say this real quick. A lot of people, man, I listen to a lot of people on iHeart, a lot of New Orleans, and Baton Rouge radio talking about LSU and how it's so much of a better job than the Oklahoma job or the USC job, and how much resources LSU has. And while the state has a lot of talent, a lot of football talent, there's, I think, in my opinion, I think the USC job is the better situation, in my opinion. It just is. And it's crazy that people have forgotten about how powerful the USC brand is, man. USC has just as much tradition, winning tradition as LSU. They've have as much. They have probably more Heisman Trophy winners than LSU. They have just as much first round draft picks as LSU. Tradition, history, all that as LSU. And why would I mean if I'm thinking around there, why would I, you know, turn down the LA market, man? The program is in the Los Angeles market, that one of the biggest markets in the country. You got that. Like when USC was at its height with Pete Carroll, it was the best program in the country. Plain and simple. That program in Texas. I think once both programs are right, I think USC and Texas are like the best jobs in the country over LSU. And for people to put it down, put it over Oklahoma is like it's kind of, I don't agree with it because Oklahoma has just as much resources as LSU. You know, and winning tradition, national titles, Heisman Trophy winners, NFL draft picks as much as LSU. So I think, me, man, I think the USC job is better, man. It's a better situation. And also, you in the Pac-12 conference, man. It ain't like the NFL where it's only 32. You got 32 teams, and let's say you're an offensive coordinator, and you get, let's say they offer you the Denver Broncos job, and you like, well, should I take this job or should I wait another year? Because I might not have another choice. Because if you take that job, you got to deal with Patrick Mahomes twice a year, Derek Carr twice a year, and Justin Herbert. In the Pac-12, man, you got options, man. You have a choice of like your pad. You can make your pad to a championship easier. You know, how many Power 5 schools we got? Like 60, 40, close
Yeah.
40 to 50 compared to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? NFL, you don't really have a choice but to take a bad job and turn it around like a Detroit Lions and deal with Aaron Rodgers twice a season. You know what I'm saying? So the path to championship is easier in the Pac-12 compared to the SEC and in the Big 12 as well. So I would say the path to getting to a championship is easier. Now I don't know about winning it because once you're in there, you facing the best. So I'm gonna get your thoughts on that.
I'll take this first. It'll be pretty quickly. I completely agree. USC, when you get USC rolling, it's arguably, I'll always put Alabama number one because I think the track record and the sport ain't the same when Alabama's down, but when Alabama's rolling, it's the best job. But after that, it's really a toss up. It could be USC, it could be Ohio State, it could be Texas. It used to be Notre Dame. I'm not sure if they can get there with their academic standards now. But yeah, I agree with you. USC is a better job. You got easier, but not just that. You can, if you bring USC back, you bring the entire part of the country back.
Yeah.
That's really the big thing. Like a lot of these markets, they were really thinking Riley was hired because now we feel like USC can be relevant again. That's how big this. Like some people are saying that this is the biggest hire since Nick Saban. went to Alabama. I won't go that far. I'll still put Urban Meyer out of that to Ohio State, but it's up there. He'll have to, in my opinion, before this to live up to the hype, he has to win a championship, at least one. That's fair expectation. At Oklahoma, I just didn't think he could do that. He wasn't getting he was getting some talent and he was building, but I just think he have a ceiling at Oklahoma, and for him at least. And Oklahoma needs a type of coach like a Matt Campbell, a coach like that can get the best out of their players. Lincoln Riley isn't that type of coach. He needs talent, and now he has that base of California, and he'll still try to get the best of the players. But I think now he'll be able to get at USC. The sky's the limit.
Really?
I really think I agree with what you all said. I understand that really USC, really, if you're trying to get to win a championship, USC is the way to go because you have to go through less barriers to get to where you want to be. USC, like we just mentioned before, they have the potential to be the class of the SEC. I mean, not SEC, Pac-12, like in a few years. LSU, regardless of how good LSU is, they're going to have to go through Bama. They're going to have to go through Georgia. They're going to have to go through those middle schools. They aren't going anywhere just because LSU got a new coach. I think Lincoln Riley will have a chance to make more of an impact there. So I feel like if I were offered the job and say pick, I would go to USC, like you said, because it's the one that's the path of least resistance, really, you could say.
Yeah, ain't like the NFL. You know? Go ahead.
But also, at the same time, I feel like the team with the most pressure to win now, I would say would be USC because we all know if LSU doesn't win, they still have to. You can still say you got to play Bama every year. You got to play Georgia. You got to play those other schools. USC, there is no reason why they have some good teams in the Pac-12, but there's no reason why USC can't be in the Pac-12 championship next year. And I know you have to get a class to guys to get in there. You got to get some guys like different guys, your guys in there really for our first few recruiting classes to really make an impact. But I don't see why they can't be in there next year. But it's not like the Pac-12 is just that great.
No, it's not that great. It's pretty awful in my opinion.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
I still would give Oregon a slight edge next year, but they will be bringing in a new quarterback more than likely. So, and USC, obviously they have Jackson Dart. But it'll be interesting. There's a lot of rumors about it. Well, Caleb Williams join Lincoln Riley in LA. I don't know if that happens, but if it does, that will be very, very interesting to watch. Yeah, USC, I would not. That's really their ceiling. I mean, that would be their ceiling next year to make it to the Pac-12 championship. I think they could do that. And if you make it to I wouldn't be surprised they made it to the playoff next year. Really wouldn't. Lincoln Riley will have a lot of work to do that in his first year, but they have the talent. Now they have a really good coach. They gotta just put it together. But I would not be surprised if they're up next year.
So y'all think Oregon will ever get back to that level of where they were in previous years?
Like in the Chip Kelly?
Yeah, Chip Kelly, Oregon. That was dope.
They'll get there. I'm not even sure how long Cristobal will be there. Because there's some rumors that they go to Miami if that job opens up. Lane Kiffin and
him. He's doing a good job, man.
No, but it is his alma mater. And they'll have an easier path. Because now if USC gets rolling, that's going to be tough. Washington, they just hired a coach. They're going to be tough too. And so and you saw what Utah did to them. So the Pac-12 is going to start getting better and better. And really, if you go to the ACC, the only team you really have to worry about is Clemson. That's it. They're a lot really, really good, middle, above average teams. The only team in the ACC you have to worry about. Florida State slowly getting there under Norvell, but I could see him taking it. But I think Oregon will be a solid team. They'll give USC some trouble, but I don't think they'll get to that level they were under Chip Kelly.
Nah, they won't, man. It won't never. Like Cristobal's Oregon compared to Chip Kelly's Oregon is just like night and day, man. Just like it's like a different program. The way they don't score as fast as Chip Kelly did. They don't put up as many points. I remember Chip Kelly had the running backs going up 100 yards in games. He had the read option QB. It was dope, man. I still remember it. So, yeah, man, USC should be turning around pretty fast, compared to LSU. And I think it's a better market, man, a better opportunity, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes, man. Plus the guys, like Lincoln Riley, he's young, man. Young guy, California, makes sense. So we'll see. All right, so moving along, we talk about NFL real quick, and we want to talk about the issue with the Carolina Panthers right now, with just Cam Newton, Matt Rule, Joe Brady, the whole 9 yards with the Carolina Panthers. They lost to the Miami Dolphins, 33-10. I was at the game. Miami's defense is legit, man. It's a really good football team. I don't know if they make the playoffs, but they're gonna make it difficult for other teams to get in. Really good defense, and I watched that game, and they really got after Cam Newton, man, in this football game. Look like things are just not panning out with this current regime in Carolina with Matt Rule, Joe Brady, Christian McCaffrey is injured once again. They got some nice pieces on the outside, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Defense is supposed to be one of the league's best, but it hasn't shown that in the last few games. So it's like they get y'all's take on the issue with the Panthers right now.
Well, I'll go first since he's not here. I like what you said about Miami, and I thought for a second Flores was in trouble, but
Yeah.
he's played a right ship. I'm not saying they probably won't make the playoffs, but they'll be playing meaningful football up until the end. Carolina, on the other hand, man, wow. I remember early in the season we thought for sure they'll make the playoffs. Now I wonder if they'll even be playing meaningful football the last 3 games. Because as good as Cam is, there's a reason why he wasn't in the league. I love him. A lot of people thought he was done, and I think he won 1 game for them, but we also have to remember that there's a team without Kyler Murray and they've just yet to win since. I'm looking at the standings right now. They're not 5-6 is the record of all the teams ahead of them, and they're only 5-7. So they still have a real numerical shot. But man, they gotta get it together, and they better get it together quickly. But another thing I'm noticing, we're probably hearing the Matt Rule's name mentioned in a lot of these head coaching college.
Yeah.
Same thing with Joe Brady. So I wonder if they're trying to get out of there. Let's put it that way. Because they probably see this ain't working. Let me just go somewhere else and deal with that. But one thing I'll say is they don't play. He's the richest in the NFL, and he wants to win. And even though Matt Rule has to building programs, Tepper will only give him so much time. So I think he'll get at least 1 more year. But I wouldn't be surprised if he really wanted to, if he got to college, one of these college jobs. I wouldn't be surprised because he made tired of the NFL. That was the grind, and he wanted that. He wanted, but sometimes careful what you wish for, because it may not end up, and may not be what you want, and it could be one of the worst decisions. But we'll see.
So if you could get Matt Rule and Joe Brady at Oklahoma, would you take it?
Hell yeah, man. I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, man, slam dunk right there, man. That's a good hire. Matt Rule and Joe Brady, man, that's good.
College, that would be great. That would be great. That would be I actually think Matt Rhule's a better coach than Lincoln Riley. And I also think Joe Brady's a better OC than Lincoln Riley. I know it was just 1 year, but saw what he was able to do. They were almost unstoppable. But, yeah, I would love that. See, the only thing is they'll do good in the Big 12. How they'll do in the SEC, I know Joe Brady had that 1 year, but you won't have the same amount of talent as you had at LSU. So that we'll find out. That'll tell me more about him. But I think he could do a really good job at Oklahoma. I really do.
Go ahead, Lee.
The Matt Rule era so far, you could say, argue in Carolina has been very underachieving. But you could also make the argument that he really hasn't had the best players available. They're healthy. I lost Sam Darnold for the year. You lost McCaffrey for the year 2 times. He also has really been a victim of a lot of injuries and a lot of older players, expensive players. I think while they've done a good job in like having a lot, they do have a lot of talent to work with. They kind of remind me of the Vikings and that they have a talent. They just don't have the players to execute. The players don't execute enough. I'm starting to wonder, like you said, DB, if players really are rallying around Cam Newton. Like, is he just a shell of himself? Is he really trying to like portray himself as better than he really is in terms of because he still has that same confidence he had when he was 2015 Cam Newton. Now, which I can't necessarily fault him for it because the man has to be confident in himself. However, the problem is that that performance last week, you saw it firsthand. It was a bit abominable. It was a bit more pathetic. You saw why, like Bada was saying, you saw why he went in the league.
Yeah.
So the question is, can he bounce back from that, or will he let that performance define him? We'll like Bada said, they're only one game in the loss column out of the playoffs, so they can get in the playoffs. But the question is, can they step up their game because they're gonna have to? They're not winning anything.
Yeah, they haven't played Tampa Bay yet. So my thing is with this whole situation with Carolina is that when they hired Joe Brady to go to work with Matt Rule, I know a lot of people are saying, "Well, oh man, they're gonna have the concepts of the Saints offense, and they're gonna have Christian McCaffrey's gonna be like Alvin Kamara, and Bridgewater's gonna do this, and Bridgewater knows what's his name, Joe Brady from his time in New Orleans, and this and that, and he gonna do this and that." I'm just like, when I saw the product on the field, I noticed that they're missing a couple key elements with that offense. And with any like really good Sean Payton offense, he's gonna have a couple things that he needs: a really good offensive line, the running back. They're gonna have the Alvin Kamara type back like McCaffrey. But what Carolina don't have is the big back, the thumper. They don't have that. And they use McCaffrey as the main back. He's the main load. I think 1 year he ran for like 1,000 yards and 1,000-yard receiving, like a Marshall Faulk. And that could be too much for that type of running back. With New Orleans, with the Saints, you have a two-back system. You have a good offensive line to protect your QB. And another thing they don't have, I mean, they got Sam Darnold and all that, but he's not accurate. Any quarterback in that system has to be accurate with the passes. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be able to have a cannon on him like a cannon. It doesn't even matter if you have that type of arm. It's just that you got to be precise with the football and not turn it over. And regardless of the defense, I don't know what happened to the Carolina's defense, man. And during these last couple games, it was a fast defense, and lately this offense has been carving them up. In the game against Miami, when I was there, Brian Flores didn't do nothing special. It wasn't nothing off the charts. There's a lot of read option. They ran the football, quick pass to Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle will be a superstar. He torched him for 137 yards. I watched him. He torched him. And that's like, they got a good secondary. So I just think that I think the offense is just missing a couple critical elements to their attack. And defense just gotta get right again. That's what I think with Carolina. And I don't know if the quarterback situation is settled yet. And the owner, I just think I said this in the past. I just think he's a little too impatient with building an NFL franchise. It just don't work like that in the business of the NFL. You're just not gonna build something overnight and expect it to contend. So I think he just kind of got a little impulse with signing Bridgewater. Dumps Bridgewater after one season, it go get Sam Darnold. It makes it even worse. So that's how I see it. Y'all got anything to add?
Yeah, I'll add this. And not only that, they didn't have to give him that. They picked up his option, his fifth-year option. So I think he's going to be up like $20 million next year. So you're almost forced to play him. I don't know if I think this camp thing is just for right now, but they're going to probably need to find either a good veteran and I think probably good veterans for a few games now, maybe have that air apparent down. I just don't know if Sam Darnold is that guy.
So do you think they go after Deshaun Watson?
Maybe. Who knows? They did it. They tried it before. But that would be interesting. I forgot about that. That would be interesting. But another thing I'll say, usually Matt Rule, wherever he's been, that third year is a year they take off. So they have a shot to make it.
It's in college, though.
I know. That's fair. And that's another thing. But that's, to me, you know by then if this is not going to work or not. But I know all that stuff that, like, Joe Brady is having a lot of success with college. In the NFL, the talent is almost the same. So you're not going to just out-talent people.
I told you that. I said that.
And so he's done an all right job.
No, he's not.
He's done an all right job, but they'll have to figure out if they wanna survive next year. I believe they'll get another year, but if they're not careful, I won't be surprised if there's a change in Carolina next season.
Maybe a change after this season.
I don't see it happening.
You don't know, man.
I mean, as long as they don't lose the rest of their games like that, I don't see that happening. But I think they'll be there one more year.
Go ahead, Lee.
I think it'll be. Rule will get another year, like y'all said. I think he has a chance to turn around. Like you said, I feel like Tepper is a little impatient. You don't build teams. Championship teams aren't won overnight. I feel like they're not a rebuild, but I feel like they have a piece of the question is, can they find the right quarterback and can Christian McCaffrey stay healthy? I feel like the team is not – they don't lose because they don't have talent. They lose because they often use that talent, but they don't like – I'm going to say they're not the best IQ team in the NFL at all. And I feel like they lost a lot of games this year just with the lack of football IQ and the lack of really healthy, like their best players have been hurt. The most key players have hit the injured list. You can't win with too many games with all the backup players. And so while Chuba Hubbard has done really good in McCaffrey's place, he's not what healthy McCaffrey is to their team at all. And Chuba's really good for a rookie. He's really good, actually. I really like him. But you can tell the difference. And it's cost them a few games. McCaffrey, there are a few games that I feel like they would have won if they had McCaffrey. But you can't look at the pack. You just have to keep going. And they have the talent to make a run. And I know, even though they lost to the Redskins, I feel like they're better than them. And I feel like if they were to meet again, they could beat the Redskins. But they just have to put it all together. And Cam has to just show up and play better. Simple. Or he won't have a job after this season.
Probably won't, yeah. All right, so moving right along, we're going to talk a little Memphis Tigers basketball and the issues that's been going on lately with the program. So the game against Virginia Tech, I was on my way to Florida, Miami, and I watched that game on TV, on the flight. I watched that game, and I was like, okay, here we go. They're gonna put it off. They fought with Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech wasn't put off by Memphis' talent, elite talent. They were able to fight with them, but Memphis were able to close it out. remain undefeated. So was the day after Thanksgiving they played Iowa State, and I just saw a completely different team. It just the issues I saw, the turnovers, the things I seen from the last two seasons with Memphis, where guys just getting caught up, a bunch of stars on the court, turning the ball over, not executing. I'm just like, here we go again with this stuff, doing the experimenting, winning games, and a lot of looking at some console order, Coach Henry saying that Memphis don't have a point guard, orchestrated offense. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Does he? Oh, okay. I'll go. I didn't have.
Go ahead.
I thought you were talking, and we couldn't hear you. My bad. All right. Memphis is in trouble. Memphis is in trouble. And when I say they're in trouble, I don't say that they're not going to make the tournament, but I just don't know if they can solve their issues. And their issue, when I put, all right, they can solve their turnover issue, I think, by slowing the game down. They're going out of pass. Like Penny originally, he wanted to be the number one defensive team and the number one team in pace. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, so he needs to get rid of that. They got to, once they slow the pace down, shorten the rotation, I think that will help solve some of their problems. But offensively, that was, we talked about in the offseason. We got a lot of heat from the delusional Memphis fans out there. But it's been their problem every year under him. And so that's why I really was intrigued to see who he would hire on his staff. And a lot of people thought Larry Brown was going to be a savior, but I knew that Larry Brown, he may be able to help a little bit, but the guy's 81 years old. And I don't think that he's just going to be some magic offensive savant that's going to just bring the Tigers back to their glory days. I mean, I'm frustrated watching them. I'll still support them since I got here, but they better get it together because if they don't make it, it's going to be one hell of a off season.
Nah, they ain't gonna do nothing. They're not gonna do nothing, man.
That's what we think. We don't know.
They're not gonna do nothing, man.
I don't know.
They're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna do nothing, man.
They may not fire him, but I think he can resign. I can see that. I can see it.
That's happening, yeah.
But
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, Lee.
I really don't see why people are overreacting after one game because I feel like Iowa State, despite really being a bad team last year, got really better over the offseason. So I really don't understand why people are overreacting. I guess it's the way because they really lost. They look bad. The offense looks out of flux. The defensively, they were just horrific, and they pride themselves on being a great defensive team. So that kind of hurt. But also, really, the team, or what hurt me, like watching the game, was when I saw the fact that there was no direction at the point guard position. At some point, we have to realize that Alex Lomax his ceiling is very, very low, and that he's really just a placeholder. I don't really see why he's a starter to begin with. I understand why he plays. I'm not saying it, but they need an offense on when they play Iowa State. And I would have had Tyler Harris in there more minutes because at least he brings some sort of offensive versatility. And I feel their best option may be playing with no point guard at all.
No.
Because
what about the Monty Bates idea?
Well, I can see it working, but he's not a true point guard. So that kind of he's a scorer, but it could work because he hasn't been scoring the ball well lately, and maybe him playing the point guard position will help him get his team open looks, and then get him open looks as well. If they not getting down their shot, because he hasn't been playing well recently. Durant hasn't been playing. He had some great games this year, but he hasn't. Yeah. The last few games hasn't been consistent. Like Pardon me. You have to keep in mind that they're only 18 and 17-year-old players. So you're asking the
Yeah.
youngest players on the team to be the franchise or program changers. And it's kind of a lot to put on their backs. So those veteran guys have to step in and make plays as well too, or they're not going anywhere.
Hey, so do you think that if they still had Boogie Ellis, you think the offense would have ran more smoother?
I don't look at him as a true point guard. So it would have helped like individual scoring, but if they're not running good sets and executing everything, like if you just compared how Iowa State was playing offensively compared to Memphis, it was like you're watching an NBA team versus a high school team.
Yeah, it was just,
And then the part that really, really blew my mind, after the game, he was like, we were running the same stuff that they were. And I'm not saying there's no cheat to that. It could be, they could have ideas and say,
good, man.
but I mean, my goodness, the timing of that, and just, does he think we're stupid? Does he really think we're stupid? Come on, man. They got to figure this offense out. And it's frustrating. It's one thing if this is your first year. It's one thing if this is your first year, I'll give you a pass. Second year, maybe. Third year, no. Fourth year, hell no. And so, I mean, I think they make the tournament, but they'll have to figure it out really, really quickly because it's not going to get any easier. And their conference, they just don't have wins. They don't
Yeah, the win, man. Just started.
Well, let me take that back. They have some good non-conference games, but
So hold on, bro. Wait a minute.
say what?
So we what they play like 6 games in the season already?
Yeah.
They not gonna. That would be like stupid if they like held the beginning of the season against them like they did last.
No, look, all right, that may not be fair. The problem is, it's just what has he shown that he's gonna change it? Or not change it, or make it better. That the offense was a little better last year, but at the end, I'll give him that. But I just don't know if he'll be able to get the job done. And so we'll see. We'll give him the rest of the season.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna read this comment from Mike Patton. Shouts out to Mike Patton from the State of the AFC South podcast. I don't know if y'all already talked about it or not, but at what point do we realize that Penny can get talent but cannot coach? Let y'all handle that one. Y'all handle that one.
I've been saying for a while. I mean, if you judge a coach by getting talent, Penny would arguably be the best coach in the country. But what you do with that talent, he's arguably one of the worst. And at some point, we've been criticizing him, but at some point he has to figure out, all right, why am I not getting the best out of my talent? Is it me? Is it my staff? And you have to change something. And I think he may have to change the way he wants to run this program. It's been all about the NBA, all about maybe individual players, but maybe you got to do what's best for the University of Memphis basketball. And you got to get guys that are willing to buy into that. And if not, get them out of here. It's just as simple as that. But, yeah, go ahead, Leo.
No bad.
To just what Mike said in the comments, I don't think it's a matter of he can't coach. I just think it hasn't been where we all thought it would be. And also, you can't, while Penny's the coach, he's going to take the blame. The players their turnover ratios are horrific. You can't blame Penny for them having 20 turnovers in the game. There are aspects of the game that are happening on the floor that are simply out of his control. Now, I say they can get a lot. They do have the talent to be really good. They're not ranked number 18 in the nation for no reason. They're ranked there because people feel like they can be there in the end. But my problem with them is that when they have a challenge, when they I'm looking at TikTok. But when they have a challenge, like there was I would say it was a step up game for them, and they weren't ready. Like it also showed you that my friend was telling me there's levels to this. Like you can beat up on West Kentucky, who was a good mid-major school. You can beat up on the other small schools you play. But when you go up against a Big 12 school, those schools are going to expose you. They coming for blood. Those schools, and I probably should have played those Iowa State players. We'd heard all this hype about this Memphis team. We want to be the ones that silence them and shut them up, and they did. They silenced them. Now, like Brother said, they got to play Alabama. They got to play Tennessee. They got to play Georgia. Those are out of conference games. That two of those teams are top 15 squads in the nation. So the question is going to be whether can Memphis step up to the plate, because they'll get chances to, like in DB, when you have a heavyweight guy that's like in boxing, you're a boxing guy. He's 25-0. He gets a step up fight, gets knocked out in the first round. You see the levels. The question is, they're gonna get two more chances, two more guaranteed cracks at ranked teams in the non-conference. The question is, can they step up and take advantage of them?
Yeah, that is how I see it as well, man. The Penny, man, it's just teams gotta get organized, man. I just think that offense will be a lot better if you had a point guard that can push the ball up the court, get those guys involved, notice things, call out plays, get the guys in the right position to score, to dominate. Because I don't think if you don't have that, with this type of talent you have on this team, you got to have a point guard, man. You got to have a traditional point guard to run this offense. Because right now I just see a bunch of talented guys on the team just trying to create their own shots, doing their own thing. And they get sidetracked by that. And while they're trying to do all this experimenting they do in games, these other teams mount a comeback. They miss shots, turn the ball over. Their opponent get back in the game like that fast, man. You know, and you really can't like criticize Penny, man. You really can't, like, on social media. You cannot criticize Penny Hardaway. Because it's like you're a hater.
Oh,
you get canceled. You're gonna get canceled. You know what I'm saying? You cannot criticize Penny Hardaway. Then it's like the narrative is that we don't, as Memphis media, we don't appreciate Penny Hardaway. For real, that's what it is. We don't appreciate it.
These fans. Some of them are reasonable. There's always in every fan base. They're the objective fans, and then there's the fans, no matter what you say. You could even be agreeing with them, and they're still mad at you. They don't make any sense. They're crazy. But, yeah. Penny, someone was mentioning this. I was listening to Jason Munns. He was on Gino and Jeff. And they just like, is Penny just stubborn? Maybe that's it. Because, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. In the offseason, if you know you need a point guard, you make that a priority. And I know Monty Bates that was one of their pitches to him, but he's not a point guard.
Yeah, why change him?
He's a wing scorer. Can he create a little bit? Yeah, but that's not strength. And so I just don't understand. I feel like maybe Penny, when he looks at a player like him, he thinks of himself, but he's not cheap, man. He's not cheap. You gotta understand that. And so I hope he can get it done. I want him to do well. I want a brother to do well. He's a hometown hero. But at some point, if he continues, he won't be helping the program. He'll be hurting it. He'll be setting it back. And that just won't be tolerated at some point. But we'll see. I think that I'm hopeful they'll be able to get it turned around like at the end and make the tournament. But they better get it together really, really quickly, because the AAC isn't going to be as easy as people think. The three really good teams, Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati. You don't want to get in that situation where you have to win your conference championship to make it, because we've seen how that move has gone. So we'll see. But
okay.
Go ahead. But yeah, I'll hear what you
yeah, man. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll get it together, man. Hopefully, man, because we've seen this story before this program. It's just they start off really good and show a lot of promise, and then they face some adversity, and it get exposed, and it's like, bam, it's just like it's there. They start struggling. You know? We'll see how it goes, man. Come. So next topic we're gonna talk about is the NBA. It's in tonight's matchup between the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. Could be a game, could be a potential Western Conference final, depending on how you see it. Both teams have long winning streaks right now. Have some of the best offenses in the league right now. Best players, you got MVP candidates on both sides. I want to ask y'all, will this game tell us anything about both teams, or is it still a little too early for that? For this game showing us anything right now?
I,
Go with this. Just be a quick sentence. I'll say and also he just left the game with a hamstring injury, and also the Warriors don't have Klay Thompson. So the answer, in my opinion, is no. Just another regular season game. We can get hyped up for it, but no.
I do think it means something because it's really those are the two best teams right now in the conference. So of course it has to mean something. Like, and keep in mind they're playing. This will be this. They play 2 times in 1 week. They play Friday. I know. I know that they. This is like you said. It's only the 20th game. Most teams aren't healthy, but this is a pride thing. They want to beat. They want to sweep each other. Like whoever wins. They want us to win tonight and Friday. Like this is a big game. They want to. This is because whoever wins these 2 games, whoever wins tonight, we'll make the argument that they're the best team in the West. That's just simple because those are the 2 best teams. Even without those
In
guys,
December?
yeah, they're the 2 best
You
teams right
think?
now.
Hold on, wait. So you saying if either one of these teams win tonight, we could call them the best team in the West in the month of December?
One of them's 18-2. The other one is 17-3. So it's not like it's not like the teams are average or anything. These are 2 of the best teams. They're not average. But could you make an argument that they could be 1-2 in the playoff when we get to the playoffs? 1-2 in the seeds?
Yes, they can be.
So I think it's early in terms of it saying maybe they're the best team in the West, but I think whoever wins these 2 games that they play this week will have the opportunity it'll be a big step for those teams. Whoever wins, pretty much. That's what I think.
Do you think the Lakers have a chance of beating? Do you think the Lakers have a chance of beating any one of these teams? No.
And I hate to say it right now as a Laker fan, but they're really struggling. They can't even beat the Kings. So and I know LeBron's been out, like in and out the lineup. I know he's out these next few games too, actually. But the question is, they don't really have anybody besides AD and Westbrook who I really am confident in. Tyler Horton-Tucker makes plays every once in a while, but he's too inconsistent for me. I really don't see anybody that I can trust down the stretch, late in games, to close it out. And they have guys show up every other night. You have to hope guys show up. You shouldn't have to hope about guys. Golden State doesn't have to hope Steph or all the other guys show up because they're going to play hard. We have to hope guys show up in order to win, and that's not a good mentality.
You're right. I'm gonna hold off on the Lakers. I'm gonna hold off on right now for the Lakers, man. I'm gonna wait till like the All-Star break, bro. To like right them off. I think they still can get it together, but I don't think they're gonna win a championship though. So we'll see. But we got another question from Mike Patton, man. He asked, has any Memphis fans mentioned John Calipari down there? I know he's taboo down there, but I am wondering if Memphis fans are talking about the days of Cal down there. Yes, they do. Pretty much in every Facebook group, Memphis Facebook group I've been in, a part of, Memphis fans are still in the fence about John Calipari and how he left the program. I don't know why. To me, that's bad. That's a bit of obsession.
You have to take notice though. I'll make a point to Mike Patton. Calipari took 3 years to make the NCAA tournament. Just like we're assuming that Penny gets there too. So you say Cal won. Cal didn't win till later in his tenure. It took Cal he missed the tournament his first 3 years. He won an NIT. It's ironically because Penny and Cal both won an NIT in the first 3 years there, and he didn't make it to his 4th year. So also if we can say there has to be some sort of patience done because they gave Cal 3 years without making a tournament. So, and yeah, he ended up getting. We only remember what we saw last, and so we last saw them making the championship and making the Elite Eight. But it also took some program building and getting guys talent there as well too. So it wasn't just they just won with Cal the whole tenure. They didn't make the tournament. They were losing in the second round of the NCAA tournament. He didn't get to the second weekend until his 5th year with the team. So you also have to keep in mind, program building is actually that's the thing you have to. He wasn't getting the talent that Penny was getting, but you have to. It's still patient, even though they have a lot of talent. There's just to be some sort of patience with fans have to see because getting all those talented guys to mesh on one accord hard. Because all those guys deserve the right to play. Like a lot of those guys can start on other teams. That's what people are saying. So you have to give them Penny and the staff some credit of managing rotation, managing egos, because there's a lot of those players think they can make the NBA. And some of them will. So you got to manage all that. So just let's hold off a little bit. Hold off a little bit on the criticism.
Well, I mean, people don't understand how that stuff works, man. Like people on the outside, they don't understand how team building it goes, how they don't understand how strong chemistry is and what is needed. And these guys are like 17, 18 years old. Unpredictable. So it'll take time. You got anything, Brian?
The one thing I'm gonna say, yeah, but at some point, is this his 4th or 5th year? I think it's his 4th year. I've lost track. But you got to make the tournament this year. We can all agree on that. It takes time to build a program. I agree with that completely. But at some point, you've got to make the tournament. And if you don't, man, can you ever make it? I know there was talk about bringing a national title. How about let's make the tournament? Let's make the tournament. That would be the biggest thing that I'll throw a damn parade if he makes a damn tournament. That's the way I feel. It's been too damn long. He has the talent. He needs to just find a way to put it together. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Just make the tournament. You make the tournament, everyone will be happy. You silence critics. Even if you lose in the first round, would it be a little disappointment? Yeah, but you made.
Yeah, so when I first moved out in this region, man, I cut on Jason and John, man. It's all they talk about. Like in 2018 going into 19, all they talk about was those recruits. They're talking about James Wiseman coming to Memphis. When they got Preston Chua, they got Slow Max, they got they made a big deal when they got Lester Key on this, man. It was like non-stop, bro. That whole build up to that season. It was like, man, they going to the Elite. They going to the Final Four, man. Then it happened like the opening night. They show everybody play, and then a few days later when it's Sparrow Wide, it's like it's went crashing down, man. Just like it's just been looking downhill ever since, though, man. So we'll see, man. Would y'all got any final thoughts?
Like I said, it's too early to write them off. They haven't even got the conference play yet. But a lot of people are writing them off, like saying this Tigers team, just like these other Tiger teams, they're not like able to win. But let's just give them a chance first. Like, man, like these guys are. You're asking your best players who are 17 or 18 years old to carry a team, which is like asking, which would be the equivalent of you asking, of someone asking the Pistons asking Kate Cunningham to carry their franchise and Killian Hayes. It's not fair. You got to wait time. Winning takes time, and everybody marches to their own drum. And just because you have a lot of talent doesn't mean you're going to win. You have to mesh. And so it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. And I would appreciate it if a lot of Memphis fans realize that nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah, I got you. Can I ask him this? But it's fair to say he needs to make the tournament this year. Is that fair?
He does, bro.
I disagree with both of you all on that. He doesn't need to make. What is going to
Bro,
happen?
he needs to be tournament, bro.
Tell me what is going to happen if he doesn't.
Bro,
That's not the
that's
point.
3 years, man.
No. Please answer my question. What will happen to Penny Hardaway if he doesn't make the tournament this year?
Look, he
Bro,
can
that
lose
doesn't
some
have
of
to
the
be,
fan
bro.
support.
There's no
Not all
pressure
the
on him, man.
not all the fans are behind him. There's some fans, but he could lose some of that support. Will they fire him? No. But you lose some of that support, and if you lose some of that support, that could be the beginning of the end for him.
Bro, look, listen.
So what?
Listen, man, listen. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think this is the only program in America where you can bring in 5-star NBA lottery type players, and there's no pressure. There's like no pressure to like you won't be fired. Like this was Juwan Howard got her.
I disagree with that too.
I disagree.
I disagree with you on that. Yeah, I disagree too.
Look, all right. Let me explain 2 things why I think he could get fired. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying it won't happen next year, but it could eventually happen. The AD and president did not hire him. They have no time.
Bro, they ain't got nothing to do with it, man.
It does
They
have
just got
to. It does. And so he's gonna have to eventually make the tournament, and look, as long as he's putting butts in the seats, he'll be here. That was the main reason why they hired him, and as long as he does that, he'll be here. The moment that changes, if you're not putting out a productive product on the court, you can lose some of the fans. They'll ask themselves why bother show up, and if you can't start making tournaments, you're gonna lose like some recruits. Why should I come here? And you're not developing people. Why should I come here? Then I could see them potentially getting rid of him. I don't see it happening soon, but let's not act like anybody can't be replaced. Everybody's replaceable. I don't give a damn who you are. They haven't given him a lifetime contract or anything, so we'll see. I don't think so.
Bro, he's the favorite son, bro.
I know. Look, this is the way I feel like it'll be handled. They'll just ask him to resign. I don't think they'll fire him.
He got 4 better players than Juwan Howard, man.
Say what?
And he got 4 better talent than Juwan Howard. That bitch.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And Juwan Howard got his team in the Elite Eight, bro.
But Juwan Howard he's been coaching for a while, and he has one.
He's been coaching for a while, too. Oh, wait, yeah, you're right.
No, but I'm talking about Juwan coaching the league in the NBA. So it's a little different. And I think, look, and this is one of the problems I have with Penny. If you know that you haven't been coaching, why not get a better – and he did try to get Larry Brown. I will give him that, and they didn't let him do that until now. But there are a lot of really good coaches out there that could really, really help your staff. It just blows my mind why.
So you didn't like the Rasheed Wallace hire?
Are you kidding me? What has Rasheed Wallace done in college basketball? He's a nice name. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but as a coach, he's just unproven. And so it's not a knock against him, but I mean, there are better guys you could have gotten. And,
What you got, Lee?
Say what?
What you got, Lee?
I can't hear you. You got
Lee, what's up?
what I got?
Lee, tell me Lee, man.
Oh yeah. I disagree with you saying that his staff isn't bad. His staff is bad because you have one of the top coaches in the nation under 40, and Coach Cody Topper. He's going to be a head coach in the job in the next few years. So to say that his staff is just not good would be bad. But I do think that there are upgrades that can be made on the staff. I think that they have pieces. I think like hiring Larry Brown was a good move, but I think he's phased out. I mean, he seems to be more energetic than Coach Penny actually sometimes. But I feel like that's an old school coach. He's not meant for this era. The players like him. They think he's an OG, but I just feel like his style of play probably fit for a game about 25, 30 years ago.
Man, I just think you just gotta establish that point guard position, bro. You just can't have the team point guard, bro. No traditional point guard. You need this team. You need a floor general, man. Memphis don't have that. I know this is against the code to speak out against Ash Lomax, but hey, man, it is what it is, bro. I've been watching enough for months. I'm like, why is Lomax? What does we seeing this dude, bro? I know he had him in our head, you know, but what? I don't get I don't see what Lomax does, man. He don't score. He don't consistent score. He don't push the ball down the court. I don't know, man. Shut up, man. You got anything else?
Yeah, I'll say one final thing. Yeah, his staff it's I don't want to like bash them. They're all right, but it can get better. Is what I'm saying. You can do better. And again, I think they make the tournament, but if they don't, a lot of this stuff you've been talking about, people are gonna lose faith. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. I'm done, bro. Bro, I watch in the Facebook. I know social media we shouldn't take into account social media like this, but I'm looking at it like I said something about him winning the NIT. They made a big deal about him winning the NIT. And I was like, well, since when is winning the NIT standard already? When is that becoming standard?
Especially for a program like Memphis. Like people this is a big time program. And look, for someone that hasn't done anything, that's all right. But I mean, come on, man. This is the University of Memphis. We are a big time basketball program, basketball city. We should be expecting to make it to tournaments every year, competing for championships. That's fair expectation. And if we can't get that done, then we may need to get a better coach. That's just our thing. But we'll give him time. We'll give him time. We'll give him time.
So I think
Let me ask you this. All right, let me ask you this.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Lee.
No, never mind.
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead, bro.
My bad.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
It's just real quick. If this was Tubby Smith, what would we be saying?
He was already gone, so there's nothing to say. He was already gone. And he arguably had a better winning percentage than Penny. Like he had a better winning percentage than Penny during their first few years comparison wise. He just didn't get butts and seats. That was just his problem. Nobody he built a team like we were talking about. That's why I get segue to my next point. DB was talking about this a few weeks back. If we remember, the reason why they won't ever fire Penny is because they won't get players that are they probably won't ever hire a coach that can get the talent like he could get. And that's really important. Like you can say he don't know how to coach talent, but you at the same time, if he didn't have any talent, what would we be saying? He can't recruit. So he's not gonna win either way. That's a lose-lose situation. If you don't win with the talent you got, he can't coach. But if he can't get the great players, he can't recruit. So he's getting the best players. The question is about meshing it all together. And if they come together, then it's gonna be a scary sight. I think Memphis can be a top 3 or 4 seed in the tournament. So this narrative that Penny can't coach, I don't think it's a fair narrative because if that were the case, he wouldn't have gotten if you looked at his first two teams here, they didn't have that many star players. And they didn't have the elite besides the Preciouses of the world and all that. Well, his first year, mainly, he didn't have any of the star players. So he was able to get the best out of that team.
That second year, they sweated it, man. I heard it every day of that. Oh, yeah.
They're really good. Yeah, the Precious was really good. But then that was the year they didn't have an NCAA tournament. So we could never saw what they could do. Yeah.
I think it'll be all right. I just think once they get things, I think they can make it without the traditional point guard, but it's gonna suck. It's gonna be some growing pains. It's gonna be all right though.
Yep, be good.
All right, man. That's all we have for y'all for right now, man. Just give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Listen to us on YouTube. Listen to us through Apple. Just give us a 5-star rating. Hate, like, critique, share it. Follow our podcast on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor. You can follow us on Strike 7 Sports on Twitter, IG, Facebook. Just type in Strike 7 Sports. We should pop up. That's all we have for y'all for right now. Have a blessed night. Peace. We out.